Hello, this is the TradeSite U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for the week beginning Sunday, the 25th of August, 2024, ending Friday the 30th. This will be the end of the month, ending on a Friday. By the way, also going into Labor Day weekend, so the following Monday is a holiday, which means this Friday is absolutely the end of summer. Absolutely a waste of time from a trading perspective. It's a 3-day weekend after that. No one's going to be around. So there's no need to, in my opinion, I wouldn't even show up on Friday. But, it's going to be statement printing. It's going to be getting everybody leaving for Labor Day weekend. I mean, there's just nothing. So just know that. So if we have chances to make money, it's going to be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. We'll go from there. Here's a look at the dollar index daily chart. As you can see, we're mid-range for the last year. Nothing particularly special. Here's the euro dollar heading up towards new highs. So dollar getting weaker against the euro. It used to be for a long time that the euro dollar contract versus the dollar itself were kind of the inverse, and it's no longer the case. So it's interesting. Pound dollar making new highs, breaking out recently and doing pretty well. So the dollar getting weaker against both of those two currencies. Here's the ES front month futures contract. It's the daily chart of the broad market in futures form, and as you can see, we're back near highs. Why not? I mean, nothing to see here on that dip from a couple of weeks ago. The S&P cash, nothing here, right? I mean, again, new highs almost, very close to it. NASDAQ 100, not quite near highs, but definitely top end of the range for the last year after the dip again back at the beginning of August. Russell 2000 also heading up, benefiting from the comments from Jerome Powell on the Fed chair on Friday that it was time to start lowering interest rates. That's good for small cap stocks and the growth sector of the market, in particular crude oil, 74.83. So it had dipped, but it's back to 74. Again, the problem with crude oil is it's a two-way street, right? When it gets too weak, it's because the economy is slowing down. When it's too strong, it means inflation, and you got the wars and everything affecting that. So it is what it is. All right, here's Bitcoin sitting at 60,809. It's kind of mid-range for the year, maybe upper mid-range, but not at the highs by any stretch of the imagination. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, what a great cup and handle breakout. This thing breaks out. I mean, the rates are going to just plunge in the mortgage industry, so that's going to be really interesting to watch, and we'll keep an eye on that. The VIX closes at 15.86. Remember, we had that big VIX spike over 40, and as they say, when the VIX gets over 40, that's usually the bottom of the market. And so that was that day in early August, and so far that's held true. So that's why the VIX is so important to monitor and watch. Advanced decline ratio on the New York had one of its biggest days of the year on Friday with the with Fed chair saying that the rates are going to go lower, but we had mixed days before that. We had day up, day down, day up, day down, and then the big one Friday. Trend closes at the 10-day moving average is at 1. The close on Friday was at 0.63. So that's not under the blue line, which is 0.85. That's where we would have a sell signal on the market. So everything's safe from here. ES intraday action. This is 10-minute candles, so you can see the prior Friday. So Monday, just small gap up, but we filled it quickly and then rallied all day. That's most of the week, to be honest. Tuesday, flat opening, flat close. Wednesday, small gap up, filled, slightly green. Thursday, gap up, sold off, came back to basically Monday's open. Friday, gap up, tried to test the highs of the week, couldn't, closed out at near the highs of the week. NASDAQ 100, not quite as strong at the end, but it is what it is. NASDAQ volume putting in a lot of 5 billion share days overall. So that's interesting. And looking at the daily charts of some of the key stocks we like to watch, Apple near highs again. Amazon kind of mid-range, really, at this point. This thing really dipped in August on the plunge. Meta, back near highs. Google, mid-range again. New phone there, out this week. I know because I've got one. Goldman Sachs, approaching the highs. I think that's the highest close or very close to it on Goldman Sachs ever. Netflix made new highs this week. Tesla, back up a bit. Look at the way look at that red static trend line. I mean, that's just amazing, right? You get the 9-bar count up, you roll over, you come all the way back, and you bounce right off that static trend line. So perfect from a technical perspective. By the way, even the move up, the 9-bar move up, hit a green static trend line from like months ago. right? And that was pretty much the high. So that's just amazing. Nvidia closing, after getting a 13 sell signal. This is another one. This one actually got all the way to a 13 sell signal. We had called this, sold off and came all the way down within cents of the static trend line, moving all the way from 135 all the way back to the 89 area for the static trend line, and then bounced, and that was the low in August on that spike down day. So very technical action there. Zoom, this thing's shooting back up finally. Big move in Zoom lately, last couple of days. So good numbers there. And First Solar looks like it's about to break out. We'll put that one on the list for this week. It's got a short-term cup and handle over the last month and a half. So we will be monitoring that. So that's where we're at in the markets overall. Nothing negative obviously going on. If that was the flush, as they say, then it really isn't much of a flush. In terms of economic data coming out this week, got a bank holiday out of the UK on Monday, so that could slow things down a bit. Durable goods orders at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time here in the U.S. on Monday. Tuesday, we've got the housing price index at 9 a.m. Eastern Time, consumer confidence, CB consumer confidence at 10, Richmond manufacturing index at the same time. Wednesday, we've got crude oil inventories at 10:30, and a Fed member speaking, not a big deal. So it's a light week up to that point. Thursday, preliminary GDP, that's the second look at gross domestic product from the second quarter, still expected to be about 2.8% annualized. The unemployment claims, the weekly initial and continuing unemployment claims, goods trade balance, preliminary wholesale inventory is then at 10. We've got the pending home sales, 10:30. We've got natty gas, and then the CPI out of Japan overnight, and then you head into Friday. And again, the thing about Friday is there's not really major data here in the U.S. You got the core PCE price index and personal income and spending at 8:30, Chicago PMI at 9:45, revised University of Michigan sentiment at 10. But again, Friday, people are going to be out the door for the long weekend and everything that goes with it. So I wouldn't expect much there. So this is the end of summer. Things usually pick up after Labor Day weekend. They haven't been super exciting, but we did have a shakeout in August, obviously, at one point. It's interesting because September is usually the most negative month of the year. It's the only month of the year on average that has a negative return. But we already shook out the market in August, so it would be really hard to believe that you're going to get that again in September, especially with that VIX spike. That's a lot of put buying to make that VIX spike the way that it did. So I think we're maybe not going to see that. And then if the Fed starts lowering rates, and with the way the TLT is shaping up, there's just a really good positive possibility for everything moving forward. Obviously, it's an election year, so we know that, and that can have impacts as well. But generally speaking, I don't see anything slowing the market down. Charts as usual brought to you by NinjaTrader. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading week and a happy Labor Day weekend. We will talk to you after that.